I don't know. So, hey, everybody. I am testing a live stream. But I've got this stream recording and I don't know what I'm supposed to pick. Okay, so testing. Oh, I have 10 people. Wow. Anyway, so this is just, I suppose, a test run, doing a live stream. I'm trying to find out how I share my screen. So open systems, I don't know, here. How about this? Share. If this is, I have no idea. Yeah, this is annoying. Okay. So what I want to do, because I can't see what's happening on the screen now. What I want to do is just go through the announcements. So I've just come to the desk. About 13 minutes left before trading's begun. Nasdaq. Hopefully this is showing you how I'm shifting through different tabs. It is showing. Excellent. So we had the tariffs yesterday, just before just after the markets had closed in the United States, just before we opened. And so even though our futures was up, we went down a fair bit. We rallied during the day, which I still don't understand, because even the Asian markets were down. And then the American futures were down big all during the day, and they remained down a fair bit. So Nasdaq apparently had its worst day since March 2020, which is understandable. Also, Dow Jones down almost 4%. Russell 2000 now is in bear territory, apparently. So Russell 2000 down at 6.6%. And from its highs, there's apparently a calculator here. Yeah, so from its highs, the Russell 2000 is now down 22.42%. So small caps in the United States are in bear territory. So that's so that's where we're moving towards, bear territory. I don't think Nasdaq is down that far just yet. Let's have a look. Probably be down 13%. Let's see how right I am. Oh no, 16.65%. So Nasdaq is actually moving towards bear territory right now. So bear territory is 20%, bear market, and really interesting. And I'll probably show this in this afternoon's ASX Daily Rundown video. I saw this particular video from Wealth Within, why the US stock market won't crash on Trump's tariffs. And they released this last night. And there were quite a few people saying, have you looked at the futures? Bro, did you check the futures before posting this? Might have got this one wrong, boys. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they released that particular video, because it was pretty obvious that the American markets were going to attack overnight. The other thing I found really interesting is discovered how they calculated all the tariffs. And it makes absolutely zero sense. It was based off trade deficits. So what they did is they had a look at the trade deficit, all trade surplus for countries into the United States, and then they just divided that by half. And the reason why we got 10%, because they have a trade surplus with us, not a deficit. That's why we have 10%. That's probably why Macquarie Island has 10%, because Australian territory. That's why Japan, if I remember correctly, and I'm getting this information from David Rosenberg, he mentioned that Germany, France, and Japan all have 2% tariffs total on American goods. And the reason why Japan has a 24% tariff is because They have a massive surplus with the United States. And the other thing, not everyone, but the administration is ignoring in the United States is United States has a massive surface surplus with the world. You think of all the massive companies in America. We're talking about Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet. These have, because of those companies, America has a massive surplus when it comes to services, not goods. So they're just looking at goods, not services. So that is a bit of an issue. So how is this working? I'm surprised there's a lot of people watching. There you go. Yeah, so again, this is I'm just testing this out. It is a little bit clunky at times. I'd like to switch between tabs, but I can't do it. Maybe I'll be able to do it, but I'm trying to, I suppose I am learning on the fly. Thank you. And can I write comments? I can write comments, I suppose. Let's have a look. Let's see what it says when I write. Thank you all. Oh, there you go. Anyway, so I did not expect people to watching this because I did not plan to do this at all. Now, what I was actually going to do is have a look at some announcements that have been released on the ASX this morning because I haven't had a look yet. So that's what I might do, but I have to go to a different tab and let's do this. So this is CommSec. We'll have a look. I don't envisage many interesting announcements have been released on the ASX today. It's a Friday. It's a fairly quiet period of the year. Now, we will see it become more interesting over the next few weeks because it is April. It's Appendix 4C season or month. And for some reason, CommSec is not updating. There it goes. Mesoblast. There's a Mesoblast announcement. Mesoblast cell therapy products not subject to US tariffs. Ansell US tariffs update. So, yeah. In fact, I'm interested to see what Ansell is saying because the share price of Ansell dropped. What was it, 13% yesterday? So the market is not confident that Ansell is going to do well out of these tariffs. So let's see how Ansell has responded. And the other thing is going to be interesting to see how the share price is going to react this morning. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce. Now, I have been trading Ansell. Share price is down a little bit. There's a chance I'll probably sell of my trading position in Ansell today. But what have they stated here? Approximately 43% of Ansell revenue is generated in the US. The majority of products sold in the US are sourced from Ansell manufacturing facilities in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam, and China. No country supplies more than 30% of our imports into the US, with our largest exposures being to Malaysia and Sri Lanka. They plan to fully offset the tariffs increases through pricing. That's really interesting because what's his name? Steve Besant, whatever his name is, said, we don't know what's going to happen with pricing. We think there's a chance that companies won't pass the pricing on to the consumers, the American consumers. Hello, of course they're going to pass it on. Anyway, so Ansell plans to fully offset the tariff prices or increases through pricings. We've had conversations with customers to his effect, including the past 24 hours. Anyway, and they're maintaining their guidance range for adjusted earnings per share. It's exactly what Fish and Pike are doing. And that's because they're increasing their pricing. I suppose there's going to be a decrease in sales, maybe, but if they increase prices, even if there is a decrease in sales, that might be okay. I don't fully like this because I have to change between tabs. And when I actually do, like I can't right now because I've changed tabs, I can't actually move up and down on this Ansell announcement. Anyway, let's go through the rest of the announcements. Orthocell. I just saw Orthocell. There we go. We'll have a look at that. Now, one of the reasons I don't like CommSec is because you see all these estimated distribution announcements. If I'll show you market index, and they do have announcements here, but the problem with a market index, it's 20 minutes delayed, so you can't open up any price-sensitive announcements or any announcements that were released within the last 20 minutes. You can see it's grayed out because I believe there is a cost. And if we go down, you can see all these estimated distribution announcements released at 8:16. Not many released, but if you go to CommSec, it seems like there's a massive amount released. It's because they double up. For some reason, CommSec doubles up or triples or quadruples up. And that's why it seems like there's a lot. Anyway, so I do prefer CommSec just because you get all the latest announcements. There's no graying out. Okay, so let's go through this. I don't expect much here. and we have 5 minutes before the market opens. I expect most companies are going to be down a fair bit this morning. Let's have a look at CBA, up 1% yesterday, down 4% at this point in time, indicated price. What's another company? And that's, and I have to go here. And someone's talking about Orthocell up 15% pre-market. Yes, I'm getting to Orthocell in a second. Excuse me. Now, where is the tabs? And hopefully you can see this. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, so there's going to be some teething problems because this is the first time I've ever done this. And let's go back here. Let's go to Orthocell because we have a few minutes before trading begins in Orthocell. So Rempli cleared to commence sales in $1.6 billion US market. So, of course, there were a few people on Hot Cuppa who were convinced this was going to be a negative announcement because they went into trading halt. That's simply ridiculous. But the thing I'd say is you have no, if you are holding Orthocell when they go into trading halt, you can't do anything about it. So there's no point worrying about it. Anyway, so it was positive. And I would say, I think I mentioned that this was probably a 70, 80% chance it was going to happen. I did actually buy some Orthocell shares 2 weeks ago just because I thought more than likely they will get US FDA clearance and the share price will be up today. So let's have a look at, oh, I did it again. I did it again. Let's have a look at the announcement. Yep. Clearance, and more importantly is indicator price up 5.92%. Would be much higher if we wouldn't be seeing Trump tariff chaos today on our market. By the way, what's our futures like? So what you can do in ComSec is if you go to watch lists, they have our futures down here, 93%, 93 points. So that's about 1.2%. So we do expect to see some pretty big sell-off today on the XJO. And we're a few minutes from trading. So let's go back to the announcements. I'm just looking for any sign of any interesting announcements here. For instance, Pacific Edge, fourth quarter 25, CX Bladder volumes rise and key metrics improve. Magellan also released assets under management. Enero Group, a trading update. Emotive, a trading update. These are the type of announcements I really like. So what I'm going to do is actually have a quick look at some of these because I'm always looking for trading updates because this could be changing. This is very important information. It could lead to the share price of a company either rising or dropping by a fair bit. So Emotive, I'm pretty sure this company changed their name. Was it GUD? I think they changed the name from. And what we're looking for is any sort of good language or any sort of numbers. So four-wheel drive impacted by weaker new sales in Australia. Company now expects marginal revenue growth and marginal decline in underlying EBITDA compared to previous corresponding period. Now, the question is that a little bit weaker than expected? Is that lower than expected, worse than expected, that sort of thing? So there's a chance that the share price of this company could have dropped. Now, the other thing I like to do in these sort of instances is just have a look to see how the market is viewing the opening, and down 4.44%. Now, this could be just because of the market turmoil, that sort of thing. And the other one was Enero, which, if you have a look at Enero's chart, this has been all over the place. Well, maybe not all over the place. It's in a downtrend. It just keeps on dropping. Down 4% yesterday. And if just a potential, this could be a trend killer. If it's really positive, I doubt it's positive though. So let's have a look. So release a trading update, a result of structural changes in the ad tech market impacting performance in the second half of financial year 25. Net revenue of 167 is 170 million, representing a 10 to 12% year-on-year decline. EBITDA 22 to 26% million, representing a 30 to 40% year-on-year decline. Well, Yes, so that looks pretty negative as well. And let's have a look at how this is trending or trading, down 7.1%. So that's negative. And unfortunately, the trend killer scenario is not at play. Okay, any questions for you? Sensei, are you going to do another live later today, starting at 2:45 p.m. Brisbane time? I'm not sure. This is just a test for me. I've been thinking about doing this for the last 2 weeks, and I thought today would be a good day just to test it because I hadn't had a look at any announcements, and the market is now open, by the way, so we can see how companies are trading. So would CBA be trading yet? Very close to trading. Only down 2.16%, but we do have like ANZ trading down 1.95%. The other thing you could do is I sometimes will have a look at my watch list because I do have a fair bit of watch lists here. Like Breville's down 10.55%. I do like to look at the old watch lists. I don't know why. There's a company up, AUB up 3.14%. So I do have lots and lots of watch lists here, heaps of watch lists. Let's just have a look at the financials. I expected like the banks to be down fairly big today. Life 360 is down 6.91%. So a lot of tech companies will be down. I do have a tech. Well, I thought I did a tech. Maybe it's IT and software. Up and down, Bravura down. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of red today. That's without doubt. What about mining? That's the other thing. Silver was down 9%. Am I right in saying that? Silver was down 9% overnight. Let's have a look. Silver's down, yeah, about 9%. I don't know why this is not working, but I can't see how much it was down. But anyway, about down 9%. So a pretty bad market today. You can see the futures now down 107 points. So the futures, this is actually something I discovered yesterday. The futures start or end at 7 a.m. So the ASX 200 futures end or stop trading at 7 a.m. and they start again at 9:30 a.m. Not sure why there's a 2.5 hour delay there. That's why we have seen it move from whatever it was up to 107. So already we are down 0.66% XGO. And don't forget, if you don't know, it's a staggered start. So not all companies start trading at the same time. It's all based off ticker codes. And so those companies with ticker code between A and C start trading first. And then it's like CSL is trading now. And if you actually list this by ticker code, you can see, yeah, all the companies with ticker code between A and D are now trading, and all those above D are not trading just yet. I have a feeling they're going to change this eventually. Not sure when that's going to be, but they do want trading of all companies to start at the same time. I've heard them talk about this in the past, but who knows? BRG is looking good value, says James Lee. I would start looking at Breville when it gets below probably $20. So I did buy Breville below $20, and then I sold half when it got above $30. So that's one of the advantages of these sort of corrections. The problem with these sort of corrections is how long is it going to last? How long is it going to last? It could turn into a significant bear market. If we go into a Great Depression, which I suppose is a possibility, because these tariffs are higher than the tariffs Smoot-Hawley introduced in the 1930s or 1930. So we just don't know. And that's the problem. There was an interesting question, which I'll answer in my ASX Daily Rundown video, talking about certainty, that these tariffs actually introduce certainty. And it's a complete opposite, in my opinion. In fact, it's increased the uncertainty because we just don't know moving forward. There's possibly going to be some negotiations. A lot of companies are now firing staff. So that's the other interesting thing. A few companies in America announced overnight they'll be firing staff. One company said they're firing 1,000 staff because of these tariffs. That's the United States, not around the world, in the United States. So that could be an issue as well. Alex says the staggered start isn't a huge issue. I agree, it's not a huge issue, but they are thinking of changing it. maybe the one issue is not all companies are trading for the same time. I don't know. Anyway, so let's go back to how the market has performed or started this morning. It's down 1%. Not surprised at all. I'm surprised yesterday that we did rally. That's probably the big surprise I had, that we did see a rally. But at this point in time, we're halfway through opening. Oh, actually, we're probably more than halfway through opening. And CSL's up. Go CSL. I'm not sure why AUB is up. And what you don't want to see is companies down big. And you're going to see that some of the companies in your portfolio will be down big. I'm just going to have a look at my trades. So Ansell's up. There you go. Ansell, a bit of clarification. And that's exactly what Ansell should have done. They should have clarified how the tariffs would have affected them probably yesterday. That's what Fisher & Paykel did. In fact, Fisher & Paykel share price was up. So there's a chance I will sell Ansell today. Meeka Metals down 6.25%. We did see gold fall away, so that's understandable as well. And some of these companies are moving towards sells for me. These are trading stocks. These are not companies I'm going to own for the long term. By the way, let's have a look at Stealth Group, because that's just been down slightly, but that's been an absolutely star performer. Okay. Okay, so Orthocell. Let's go back to Orthocell, because that should be trading. Oh, it's trading. It's only up 3%. This is telling me that this was not a big shock. And as I mentioned, I did buy Orthocell because I thought this was a good chance of happening. So that's what the market was thinking as well. This was a good chance of happening. Sometimes you'll see share price of a company, once they get FDA approval, shoot up a fair bit. And that is hinting that the market was a little bit surprised. Now, XJO is only down 1%. So, yeah, that's interesting. Now, 1.24%. There you go. And are we now completely open? We're not. No, we're not quite. Usually, the staggered start doesn't finish until 9:10 around that time. So we've still got a few companies left to start trading, and we will more likely see our market down, I would say, about 1.5%, which is, again, interesting because of what happened yesterday and that intraday rally. You're welcome, Lockie. Well, yeah, Forest Hill, next time give us a heads up. I decided to do this like 1 minute before I started recording. So this wasn't something that was planned. I just decided to do it because I was thinking, I should check all the announcements, because I came back to my desk at about 8:40 and I went, market's opening in 20 minutes. Next week, it won't be an issue because daylight saving ends. So the market opens at 10. So I'm going to have a little bit of extra time on my hands before market opens. So that's one of the issue living in Brisbane, is the market's open at 9 a.m. And typically I'm really busy in the morning. So between about 5 and 8, I'm usually out of the house, taking my dogs for walks, going for runs. I usually go to Woolworths every single morning just to buy some small stuff, look to see what's on special, that sort of thing. For instance, I bought some Lindt chocolate today because it's half price. So I typically only buy stuff when they're on big specials. Corey Buchanan says, is this the hard landing that was supposedly off the table? Oh, yeah. In fact, I saw a video this morning, I think. So when I do go on my walks, I actually do go through videos, watch videos on the walk, also listen to podcasts. And I saw a video this morning how, I think it was Goldman Sachs or someone, have increased the chances of a recession and a deep recession by a significant amount. So I think, the chances of a hard landing have increased significantly. I would put 50-50 in America of a recession. I do know some people who think it's much higher than that. Like Stephen Van Meter thinks America is going to go recession 100% of the time, every single day, every single minute, every single week. I think Australia possibly going into recession maybe 10 to 20%. Yeah, these trade wars historically have not been good for anyone. Maybe it's been good for a few people, but they've, during the Great Depression, Jesse Livermore did very well, but he was contrarian. He was selling before the markets tanked over there. So if you have a research of Jesse Livermore, so whenever someone says, I don't know anyone who has got rich from trading, just mention Jesse Livermore. He got rich numerous times from trading and then he lost it all. And he made an absolute mozza during the Great Depression. But then he committed suicide when he was 63, but that's a whole different story. So anyway, so Jesse Livermore. Anyway, so I think we've finished. We've completely opened and down 1.88%. That's a little bit worse than I expecting. I was thinking between 1 and 1.5%. And will we see a rally just like we saw yesterday? That's the big question. Okay. That's going to be it today because I've been recording for 25 minutes. So if you liked this, if you want me to do more of these live sessions on Open, now the whole thing is it's a weird setup, how they have it in YouTube. The very fact that I can't, like when I go to a tab and shift between tabs, I can't see I like to see myself. And then I can't see the chat either, which is interesting. Anyway. So if you do have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the chat. And I'm shocked, 22 people watching. Shocked. So thank you very much. Anyway, so I will be recording the ASX Daily Rundown video probably around about 2 to 2:30 p.m. my time, so 3 to 3 p.m. More than likely, that won't be live just because I do like, I prefer to record it how I record it because I'm not enamored with this live setup in YouTube. There's a few things I don't like about it, but there's always a potential I might revert to that because typically when I record the ASX Daily Rundown video, I go straight through. I don't stop. It's straight through. It's a lot of times it's on the fly. I do plan what I'll talk about ahead of time, like the companies, but it's usually just record. Anyway, so that's all I have for this particular first live video. And thank you. And thank you for giving a thumbs up, that sort of thing. Okay, so now I've got to think how I end this. I think it's the button called End Stream.